Hello, in this one I'm going to be going over a game from the great Mikhail Tal, who doesn't really need any more of an introduction than that. There's hundreds of thousands of videos on the guy, and he's probably one of the most entertaining chess players of all time. Jiri Fichtl probably needs more of an introduction. He's a Czech chess player, and in fact in 1960 he won the Czech Chess Championship, so a fairly strong opponent. Now I'm going to be honest with you, this is probably my 12th, 13th, or 14th attempt of trying to make a video. It's like 40 degrees. My head is fried. I'm stuttering. I am making mistakes. So I said this is my last time. This is the last time. This is my last attempt. I don't care how much I cook this video up. This one's getting uploaded. So good luck to me, I guess. I am sweating. Just that it's so hot. So anyway, let's get into it before I complain too much and become a snowflake. Tal opens up. Tal's white. Tal opens up with e4. We have e6 by black and d4. So we've got the French on the board here. d5, knight to d2, knight to c6. Tal plays knight to f3, knight to f6, and a5 by Tal. This is the Tarrasch, the French defence Tarrasch main line, if you was wondering. Knight to d7, knight to b3, and this is, believe it or not, is the last book move, and which is a little bit crazy really. I hate black's position here. Let's just take a look. This bishop's not coming out here. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could bring the bishop here, swap off the knight for it, but why would you give up the bishop pair so early on? White's development is just so much more easy. It's just so. These pieces require no work to get out. This bishop is eating brick walls. This rook's okay. This rook, all rooks struggle to get out from the opening, but Tal shows how fast he can get rooks out, and just a few more moves and you'll see how. Bishop to b5, knight to b8, and now this is a slight waste of a move by black, because as we've just said, that black's sort of tied up over here, and it could do with an easier way to develop, let's say. What would have been fine for black to play, it would have been something just like a5, because if Tal took the knight, okay, you get the double c pawns, but this bishop's free. It can come out. It can create threats to the king's side. This rook can take over the b file. Sorry, I have got a bit of a cough. So this would have answered a lot of questions by black. Though I don't think Tal would have took the knight. Yeah, I think black could have played something else. Maybe a dig at the such strong centre that Tal has here on e5. Tal's got some important dark squares on black's turf. So maybe the move could have been spent better somewhere else. Nevertheless, it's how Tal plays. Tal puts you under pressure and you panic and you make slight inaccuracies, I guess. So Jiri Fichtl plays back to the starting square really. b8 for the knight. Tal goes straight for the attack by playing h4. He's noticed black's not castled kingside yet, and with the looks of this bishop and knight, that's the way black's going to castle, should he castle. So he's starting the attack early. h6 by black, and the rook to h3, not even finished developing, just straight away get the rook out, eyeing down on g7 potentially later on. So we have b6, trying to activate this bishop, I guess. Queen to e2, not too sure what this move's going to do, but Stockfish isn't a fan. a5 by black, and like we said earlier, the rook to g3, just adding pressure here, and black can't just simply castle here, because the king is now pinned. Black can take this pawn, preparing to smash the king in basically. This can't take the bishop because, like I said, this pawn is pinned by the rook, so black castling to defend the pawn doesn't work here, so black actually plays the bishop back to f8. Now, Tal's just he's you know, Black's trying to develop, and Tal has somehow just forced Jiri, a great international master, such a strong player. I believe he was rated 2003, maybe 400. Someone so strong is just he's forcibly making him just pull the pieces back to the starting squares. This is better for White, because what does Black do? This knight is doing nothing. This bishop is a babysitter for the G7 pawn, and there's just, well, the opening is Black is still in the opening. White is nearly fully developed, and well, it's arguably that White has fully developed. He just needs to get this rook in the game. So anyway, we'll go on. Tal plays c4, saying, okay, trap my bishop. You know, the bishop can't come here. The bishop, if he takes, the knight will retake. He comes back here, and well, if he comes back, Black will just play to b5, and White's lost the bishop. Tal doesn't mind. Tal says, take the bishop, I'll just open up the centre. But that's where your king is. And Black actually refuses to accept Tal's sacrifice, probably rightly so. Though Stockfish isn't a great fan. There's a stupid computer line. I was planning on showing it, but I'm not going to show the computer line. I'll tell you why. I can't explain the computer line. I can't physically explain what Stockfish is trying to achieve. It says White is much better should Black take the bishop, but it's not obvious why. It's so I'm not going to go into the computer line and pretend I know what I'm talking about. I'll by all means go on chess.com, put it in this position, look for yourself. If you can explain what Stockfish is trying to say, then great. But seriously, it's disgusting. So we have a4 by Tal, cementing his bishop in. A6 by Black. Bishop to a6 by Black, just trying to remove this very strong bishop by Tal. G6, maybe trying to free up this bishop here somehow. So G6 has a defender, so this rook's not going to take over here instantly. H5 and G takes on H5, knight to H2, H4, and Tal just stops everything. He blocks with the rook, while he what Tal is planning to do here is get everything in the attack, get his pieces sorted. He's stopped Black's push of the pawns down on the H file. He's stopped all the threats by Black. This bishop can't create any threats. This knight can't create any threats. Where's this knight going? Absolutely nowhere. This knight can't develop. So White might as well just stop every bit of counterplay that Black can give, while he creates his attack. So Black deals with the strong bishop on b5. So we have bishop takes on b5, a takes on b5, rook to a7, queen to h5, bishop to e7, knight to g4. And Tal's just finishing off preparing his attack. Black tries to defend, knight to f8, rook to f3, bishop to g5. Now this is a slight mistake. It's not stopping any of threats really. Okay, you can get rid of the start square bishop, but what's Tal doing with this bishop? Seriously, it's not in the attack. These are the pieces that Jiri Fichtl needs to be dealing with. So anyway, Tal sees this as an opportunity to potentially sack a piece. Well, he's not sacking a piece, because should Black take the bishop, Tal would have a rook on a7. So Tal knows this, but this is sort of Tal's play style. He makes you think about what he's trying to do. It costs you a lot of time on the clock. What Tal should have done here, to be honest, is if we notice that this bishop is blocking the attack of this on c1, Tal can actually allow black to take here, a retake, and plan to bring this rook to c3, doubling up, creating lots of threats down the c file, and potentially even winning the queen. But there's hundreds of different things that black can do there. It's just not enough time to go over them all. But that's how black should. Tal should have gone, and he would have had a +5, 6, 7 advantage. But Tal goes for the more of the tricky side of chess. He plays bishop to b4, and there's nothing really completely wrong with this as a human. It's just Stockfish says there's a better way to go about this. That's the only reason why it's classed as a mistake. So we have rook to h7, bishop to d6, knight to d7, and the knight back to c1. And again, there's no real reason why this is a mistake. It really wants Tal to just somehow get rid of this bishop and double up on the c file. We have knight by black, knight to g6, knight to e2, rook to a8, rook to c3, knight to f4, and Tal accepts the knight exchange. Which to be fair, why wouldn't you? This knight's not in the attack. Why, it makes sense. Let's swap the pieces here. This knight and bishop are creating threats now. Let's use this knight to remove one of the attackers black has got that could potentially create problems on Tal's side of the board. So they will have a knight exchange. Rook to c7, and this rook to c7, believe it or not, Tal's actually preparing to take the knight here, and should he take the knight, the queen takes. You always have the knight to f6, forking the king and queen. So black plays the bishop back to g5, covering this square again, and this is a blunder. Tal could have just gone straight into it, but he plays f4 first because he just wants to remove this bishop from the defense of the f6 square. So black accepts. Now Tal takes on d7. The king takes again because if the queen takes, then we have knight to f3. So let's just play it, and we'd have knight to f3, winning the queen with a fork. Nothing black could do because he'd be in check. So yes, the king takes on d7, knight to f6, check anyway. The reason why the queen takes is well, if you don't take it, let's say you just play the king back, then well, you've got Tal would be able to get checkmate shortly after, or put black in a seriously bad position where he'd win the queen anyway, or well, win the queen and the rook. And black's just in a very poor position here. This is a sort of a crazy computer line, but I guess it's understood by humans. So anyway, after the king takes and the check, black decides to lose the queen now. The reason being is because he loses the queen for a bishop and a knight, instead of losing the queen and a rook with losing a few more pawns in the process as well. Black just sees this as a slightly better position, and to be honest, Stockfish agrees. So black says that his position's got to be better, giving the queen up now instead of later on. So he takes on f6, bishop takes on d6, Tal plays rook to c1, rook to g8, rook to c6, bishop to g3, check. Tal moves out of the way with king to d1. This is a mistake because now Tal can play the queen into the position. Shortly after, queen to e2, rook to h8. Tal's just removing the pawns on the queen side. Black plays a desperate move, h3, trying to get the pawn down here, and Tal gives a check with rook to b7 check, king to c8, rook takes on f7, king to b8, queen takes on e6, bishop back, b6, and in fact, actually, Jiri Fichtl resigned in this position, but the game would have continued. If you want to find how, yeah, the game would have just gone. Sorry that it's so hard, I can't think. Like I said at the beginning, know how after all these attempts, no matter how the video goes, I'm just gonna upload it. So yeah, the game would have just continued. Bishop back to c7, b6, rook to c8, b takes on c7, king to b7, and queen takes the desperate pawn over here on h3. Rook takes on c7, rook takes on c7, and black here is just lost. Let's say king takes here, queen takes on h6. There's no way black can stop this pawn from promoting. And we've got to threaten the rook. Yeah, so again in this position, black resigned. Sorry if the video wasn't great. The purpose is literally to the purpose of the video is just educational. Try and bring a bit of entertainment. I sort of get that I've been a little bit dull here. Like again, it's like 40 degrees. I am dying in heat. We're not used to it from England. We're used to rainy days and windy days, not sunshine, and not to this degree anyway. So anyway, any likes, any subscribers, any support, I greatly appreciate. Hopefully I'll see you again in the next one. I'll probably be uploading more games from Mikhail Tal, hopefully in more of a entertaining manner. Any feedback, whether it's good or bad, let me know what I'm doing wrong so I can change it. Let me know what I'm doing right so I can continue with it. It's all about making the experience for the viewer better. So thank you again. I'll see you in the next one.